Hi, you're not watching a child. No, I just shaved.
Oh my god, the horror.
I had a convention. I'm going to be probably shaved for a while now because now I've got two more coming up because I wasn't going to plan on going to another one. And then I found out that almost the entire cast of Devil May Cry is going to be in a literal exact same building in the exact same location at the freaking convention I just came from in like 2 weeks.
Oh, so you have to
So
go.
I am going. I met like 30 Devil May Cry cosplayers from Chicago in Milwaukee. They all just like took cars and a train to Anime Milwaukee. Like, they all just come here for the first time. But yeah, we figure it out. Like, oh, cool. They're like, you should come to Anime Central. You'd have a lot of fun. We'll hook up with you there. And I'm like, when is it? In a month? I'm like, let me guess. Hotels are booked? I'll try for next year.
Hey,
But,
Umbreon.
Hey, everyone.
Umbreon is here. Umbreon messaged me the other day and now understands the appeal of wrestling because he watched Queen of the Ring.
That
I'm
movie is
proud of
still
him.
on my list. There's a
proud
lot
of
of things I have to
On the day
see.
the Earth blew up last Saturday, I was only 6 in the whole theater. Nice. Okay. All right. Let's start with our months here, or our 2 weeks here.
Okay, so yeah, as Jacob pointed out, this past weekend was the release of The Day the Earth Blew Up. The original plan was I was going to see that on Saturday in like the afternoon, but then for whatever reason the screens were down, so they had to call a technician to get that fixed. In the meantime, since I was already there and I didn't want to just like drive home and drive back later, I saw another movie, Steven Soderbergh's newest Black Bag, which is amazing. And then that night I saw The Day the Earth Blew Up, and yeah, this was a good weekend for movies. Also saw Jack Quaid's new movie Novocaine. So
Nice.
yeah, lots of movies out there if you're looking for something to watch.
Have you ever had a movie come off the projector reel?
Um, oh, like the old school projector reel.
Yeah.
Not since like the 90s or early 2000s. Back when we had a movie theater in the mall. That one obviously is closed down now.
I had one, Dark of the Moon Transformers, and I was shocked at that point that it was still on a reel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
All of a sudden it just puttered out, and I went, are we serious right now? That's not a reel? Aye. Yes. Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right. Bree, go ahead.
So I've had an exciting 2 weeks. Getting a puppy. We're gonna pick her up next Friday.
Nice.
Did a little bit of freelance work. Recorded a new episode of Late Crap that I'm still editing with my friend where we covered the Lizzie McGuire movie, and I shit you not, the length of the podcast is probably gonna be like the length of like the actual movie. Like,
Sounds about
we
right.
were recording for like 3 hours. I'm like, I can't believe we had this much to say about Lizzie fucking McGuire. So, yeah, it's kind of been a whirlwind of emotions for me the last 2 weeks.
God. Kiana?
Hi, I am a logo today. I just got through doing a role play session. We're doing two things now. We're doing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and we're doing Star Wars RPG also, Edge of the Empire. So just got done doing that. Past couple weeks have been a little bit rough because we had some drama behind the scenes. Other than that, though, it's okay. But yeah, so other than that, just been recording podcasts, just been playing more Avowed, trying to relax.
Logo, you should try to see King of the
Logo,
Queen of the
you should
Ring.
really try. Dude, I want to see Queen of the Ring so badly. Yeah, plus Emily Bett Rickards. My God, that woman. Step on me, please.
Deserves a
Anyway,
big career.
we're fine.
All right. So, as you see, I look like a 13-year-old child because the most exciting thing I've done is I went to Anime Milwaukee, one of the two big conventions that I go to a year now. And It was as big as normal. I think for around here it was big. I think they said it was around 16,000 in attendance, for which us is a big deal. Had a lot of fun there. Met a lot of people from the Chicago area that came up for the convention, which shocked me. Got a lot of connections there for other cosplayers and stuff for time going forward. Met a lot of cool people. Got one of the most motherly experiences of a voice actress ever in the world, Stephanie Young, who voices Nico Robin in One Piece.
Nice.
Ooh.
I did not get her for Nico Robin. She voices Claire and Claymore. That's why I went up to her. But I also got that for my buddy, who his nephew has got like a 3x3 of all the Straw Hats. So I've been helping get that collected for him. And just walked up to her table, and like I had tweeted her earlier. I'm like, "You by chance bring Claymore prints anymore?" And I got a big old, "Oh my god, yes! I'll make sure some are there." And then like we walk up to her, she's getting her table set up, and she's like staring off to her assistant. She's like, "You make sure you drink water. I have water bottles in there." I'm like, "Oh god, she's a mom. I guarantee it." We get up to her, and she's just like, "Oh, children." I'm like, I knew it. And then yeah, she was an absolute sweetheart. I got to finally meet the #1 waifu in all of anime, Robert E.O. Speedwagon, voiced by Keith Silverstein. Guy was an absolute charmer, absolute gentleman of a guy. There's a couple others, but like one of the coolest ones that I finally got to talk with someone, and I met him before, but I forgot this detail when I met him the first time, was Tony Oliver, who voices Saba, the living like white Tiger Dagger in Power Rangers. But then after I left the convention, I was like, shit, I know him from something else, and it's really important. And as soon as I got to my house, I went, he's the guy that voices Simone in the very last clip of Gurren Lagann when he's an adult.
Yep.
Interesting.
So then
He was also Rick Hunter in Robotech.
Yep. And
Oh,
he's also Lupin. He's a bunch of stuff, but
Yeah.
he's been at the convention. This is the second year in a row he was there. So I got a print of like that green hue of him looking up at the stars as the Daigurans taking off to go to like the summit meeting. And then like, I have to make sure I got this correct because I met you last year and something more important came up that I need to get you to sign. He's like, "What's that?" So I showed him the picture. He goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember that. I also did all the voice direction on that." I'm like, "You realize the amount of times you've made me cry?" You're the one that got Kyle to deliver the line like that. He just laughs at me. He's like, "I had a lot of fun doing that. It was a good time. It was a great show. I love what it means to people." I'm like, oh. But yeah, and then like some people from Darling the Franks and all its other stuff. Just a lot of sweet, great people. One thing, has everyone here seen Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Mike, you haven't?
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay, well, I'm going to involuntarily spoil you and you'll forget in a minute. There's a point where in season 3 where there's this big giant charge where Erving is taking all these people on basically a giant suicide mission. And you meet this character called Flock, who has this one of the dumbest haircuts in anime, when he's got this stupid swirl skunk tail thing. And I was talking with Matt Shipman about it. I got his signature for Hero from Darling and the Franks, and he was like, "Yeah, I picked that role because I thought he was going to die."
Oh. Oh, no.
I legit thought, I looked at him and went, "This guy's dying in the stampede towards the Beast Titan. Guarantee it. I want to be that guy." And then I lasted a whole nother season. And I became a very important character. He's like, "I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I love that guy for his resilience." It's like, that's fucking funny. You picked him thinking he wasn't going to make it, and then he ends up being the cockroach of Attack on Titan. I met David Hayter at Con once myself. Didn't know Castle Arrow was a Miyazaki. Nice. Speaking of not Miyazaki, but something that kind of looked like Miyazaki, but I just started yesterday watching Cabaneri and the Iron Fortress.
Ooh.
It is animated very much like a old school Studio Ghibli 90s way of animating things. It's beautiful. Everyone who told me, they're like, "Yeah, it's basically just Attack on Titan," like, Okay. Within 20 seconds of watching that show, that was proven false.
Like, the only similarity is just that it's animated. It's
by Wit.
animated by Wit, and Hiroyuki Sawano does a score. Other than
Yeah.
that, there's literally like
I'm
no
like,
similarity.
oh, the main character gets infected by the enemy. Okay. But then you're on a train for the rest of the show, and there's zombies. Like, what are we doing? You were in a fort for a half an episode. Tell me you watched let's Cabaneri and the Iron Fortress. It's 12 episodes. It's awesome. Mew is this one of the most kick-ass female characters I've seen in an anime ever. It's fucking phenomenal. It's great. I got home from work and watched through episode 1 through episode 7, and then got tired, passing out on the couch, and then I'm gonna finish it tomorrow night before we record Daredevil. And then there's something on Netflix that I'm not sure what it is. I think it's like a 3-part after series something, but it's something different. It's not a recap. It's something else. But yeah, it's really cool. If anyone wants to check it out, it is on Crunchyroll. It's awesome. I like it a lot. And the intro is a fucking banger. All right. Anyway, so we've got some topics to talk about. We did not have a podcast last week because we were kind of dry on topics. And then every time we do this, everything happens. Everything happens. It never fails. Literally, we always record these on Tuesdays. It varies when it comes up because Bree on her own time edits this, which I'm always very thankful for. So we don't know when it's going to come, but almost every time after we say, hey, we're probably not going to record this week, the next day, every form of news happens. But anyway, all right, so it never fails. It legitimately never fails. I sit there and look through Twitter and went, damn it. If I would have just waited for this morning. All right. Okay. So we're going to start here with some buy or sell. Mike, buy or sell. Cannot believe I'm saying these words. The teaser for Happy Gilmore 2.
Believe it or not, I buy this. And the reason I do is because it's Adam Sandler. It's modern day Adam Sandler. And I know a lot of the Netflix Happy Gilmore or Happy Madison movies have not been great, but returning to Happy Gilmore specifically, he wouldn't do this unless he absolutely felt he had to.
Honestly, this or Waterboy were like the two of the mainstays I saw him ever going back to. Maybe Big Daddy, but not Kiona?
So, not interested.
Okay. Bree?
I mean, cool. I'm indifferent. Like, I'm one of those people that just doesn't get mad at Adam Sandler movies. And it's so funny that you bring it up with like Happy Gilmore. So just to tie this into the Lizzie McGuire podcast, I don't want to detract too much, but there's basically like this one character, and this is just mild spoilers for the Lizzie McGuire movie. But like the Italian hotel receptionist at the end of the movie is revealed to be a spy. And I jokingly said, I wish that there was a crossover between him and Paul Blart Mall Cop. I'm like, just think of the possibilities.
Jesus Christ. Yes, because everything knows we needed Paul Blart Mall Cop cinematic universe.
I mean, come on, Brock. Think of the possibilities.
I think I want to go and chew on all my bubble gum. That's literally all I remember about that fucking movie is that female's rap song that I barely remember the words to. All right, Kiona, buy or sell that Ronald D. Moore, the writer and showrunner of the God of War series going to Amazon, has announced that Amazon has ordered 2 seasons of the show that he's currently working and writing on.
Nice. I know I've seen the thing where people are mad at him for not having played the games or something, but you never know. I'm sure that
Or like he's not good at them.
yeah, he said he's not good at them, which is understandable, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, you
yeah.
can still watch the cinematics on YouTube and still get
Exactly.
like not an identical experience, but at least know
But at
what's
least you would
happening.
know.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, at least yeah. So I think it'll be fine. I think he's a good enough writer to the point where like he'll be able to get into the characters and understand.
And you can't tell me he's not going to have
concepts.
people on that staff that have played it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I think it's fine. I think it'll be okay. So yeah, I'll say bye on that. Of course, I'm always kind of cautious when it comes to video game adaptations, but
Mm.
I'll say that I'm pretty interested because it is Ron Moore.
The
So
only thing that makes me cautious is how much money are they going to be able to spend on an episode?
true. Yeah,
That is a
That's
valid concern,
fair
but
concern for real.
Yeah.
I'll say this because I just started watching Battlestar Galactica for the first time. I buy this.
Ooh, really? Yeah.
He's a very good showrunner. He's a very
It's
good
such a
showrunner.
good show.
Bree?
I mean, Amazon at this point, like, this is a hot take, but also it isn't, is very much better at allocating its funds than Netflix. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, say what
Mhm.
you will about the Rings of Power. Like, I don't think anyone can say that it's a bad looking show.
No,
No.
the money
No.
is on screen.
Yes,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You
that's
feel the
true.
money in the screen. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. Amazon isn't like
Yeah.
when they hit, they fucking hit. So I'm not saying they have a 100% record, but when it's good, it's like really
I'm
good.
just saying they're like more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the other place that I honestly would have trusted this well with, although it would not fit with their repertoire of shows, would be Apple TV Plus.
I'm not sure that I agree that it won't fit
No,
because
I
they
mean,
have
What
they
is
have
it?
done
What is it like on there though, other than maybe Monarch?
well.
God
of
yeah, I was
War?
gonna say Monarch is the reason why it could fit there.
Yeah, because everything else is like Severance, Silo, Ted Lasso, like For All Mankind, then God of War. But anyways, Mike, buy or sell that a new Starship Troopers film is in development at Sony. Neil Blomkamp is directing, and it will be more of a faithful adaptation to the novel.
It's a tentative buy because the reason why people love the old Starship Troopers movie is because it is pretty much a satire of the book. I'm not sure how a straight adaptation is going to work this time.
I've never read it.
Yeah.
I didn't know the book wasn't like that. So, Kiona?
It is Neil Blomkamp, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I get the feeling he's going to add some intelligence to it. I don't think with his movies, I feel like he does that, or he tries to do it a lot of the time. So I don't think we're going to get one that's completely like raw and no satirical element or no
Yeah.
commentary. So I'd still say that I'm interested, but just go into it without thinking that it's going to be the exact same thing as the
Mhm.
other movies. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially now that we're getting a rap, a Helldivers movie, which is basically just
Yeah.
Starship
Which
Troopers.
is basically just Starship
Right.
Troopers as a video game. Yeah.
So there's going to be the opposite. So now they're going to be two
Uh-huh.
different movies about killing.
Will Casper Van Dien make a cameo though? Because he's been super involved with a lot of Starship Troopers
That
stuff.
would be
since,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah.
Bree?
I mean, Blomkamp's, pretty much has a recognizable brand. Like, if they are going
Mhm.
for a more serious version, like, yeah, I see the vision. Whether or not, like, in the year 2025 or whenever this comes out, if that's like necessarily a good idea remains to be seen. So, kind of
Yeah.
optimistic by.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. All right. Now, Mike, buy or sell that Sadie Sink has joined Spider-Man 4, and do you think they're going to make another redhead Gwen Stacy?
Immediately had that thought.
Because I'm like, they said every one of them. Like, oh, that's right. I forgot about Bryce Howard.
Yeah, no, it literally is every single live action Gwen Stacy
It's
was
a redhead.
redhead.
Is a redhead. Yeah.
I buy obviously Sadie Sink joining the MCU. I sell literally everyone who keeps insisting that she's going to be Mary Jane. And I don't think she's going to be Gwen Stacy either.
I also don't think she's going to be Jean Grey.
No,
Why would we?
she's 1000% not going to be Jean Grey.
Like, I wouldn't be against her playing Jean Grey, but I'm like, why would we throw Jean Grey in a Spider-Man movie? as a prominent role.
I mean,
Like, here's the thing too, is that
at least
you
to
know
me, it
she's
seems
she's
weird.
an adult, but she's also like she's like both like too young to play adult Jean Grey, but like too old to play teen Jean Grey. So it's like
Yeah,
kind of like
she's got that
weird.
Finn Wolfhard syndrome.
Yeah, basically. I think she's going to be
Firestar.
Firestar.
I
Firestar's
wouldn't be
more
against
likely.
that. That would be awesome if they
I
actually brought her
would
into
not
live
be
action.
against that either.
That'd
And
be fucking
also, you
cool.
would still have an X-Men mutant connection because Firestar is a mutant.
That's true. But
So, like,
There
but
we go.
Sony can be like, well, she started off in Spider-Man and as Amazing Friends, so there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Watch somehow she's Black Cat or like something where just
maybe
the,
she's
the
Black
hair
Cat,
doesn't matter. The
maybe.
hair
I
doesn't
would-
matter.
I would have loved to see her play Jean,
It could be. Like
but
I'm just trying to think who else. Just
who knows?
I'm telling you, I will laugh till I piss myself if they made another redhead Gwen Stacy. I can't even picture her with blonde hair.
Me neither.
No, me neither.
God, that'd be so. All right. Anyway, Bree, buy or sell the first trailer for the Lilo and Stitch live action film.
Honestly,
She's gonna be Mephisto.
she's gonna be Mephisto. I kind of talked to you guys about it. Like honestly, like this was like the first trailer in a while where I didn't feel anger, I didn't feel joy. I literally felt nothing. Like I got more of an emotional response by watching the Freakier Friday trailer, which honestly, like speaking of redheads, good for Lindsay Lohan for finally getting her shit together. She looks so good and happy, and
She does.
it feels so weird to see Disney. Like, I know they're banking on nostalgia, but like Freaky Friday wasn't like, a big like monster success. It just seems so weird for Disney to be doing lower mid-budget movies again. I'm like, wait, you can make something other than Star Wars, Marvel, and stuff that costs $200 million plus dollars? That's possible in 2025?
So here's the thing: Freakier Friday is a sequel to a remake, so the nostalgia is already there.
Mike, buy or sell?
Lilo and Stitch, I soft buy it. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt because at least it's not necessarily an exact like shot for shot remake of the animated film, but also it's directed by the guy who did Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. So I have to give it at least some benefit of the doubt.
The only thing that I would say that I definitely like disliked, and it's like such a subtle thing, and it's just like so hypocritical of Disney. The ice cream guy, they changed him from being like a white, foreign tourist to being like a native Hawaiian guy, which kind of undoes like the whole thing that was going on Lilo and Stitch, where it was like critical of like tourists like on the island and stuff. Because Disney can't actually say that because now, since the original Lilo and Stitch came out, they have a resort in Hawaii, so that's kind of shitty optics right there.
I mean, it is. There's gonna be stuff that changes, and you still can be it. It might just not be in that scene. I'm going to wait until it I want them to, but I doubt they're going to make Lilo. People like to forget how feral a lot of the characters were in that movie.
Oh, Lilo is like
She was a
little
domestic
monster.
terrorist. Yeah, it was. And wasn't it, didn't they have to censor Lilo hiding in the dishwasher?
In the UK, and in the dryer.
In the dryer, that's what it was. But, yeah, so, I mean, I'm most happy that the CGI actually looks like really good.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Stitch actually looks fairly decent.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've met Chris Sanders. He's good. So, you know what? I hope he's getting paid well. I mean, my only thing is, I'm surprised that this hasn't happened earlier because Lilo and Stitch is literally one of the most milked fucking franchises that has ever existed on the planet Earth. only rivaled by Star Wars. Like, I shit you not. Like, it has never
two
died.
animated series, a bunch of different direct-to-video
The
sequels.
Isekai manga.
The Isekai manga.
Nope, not doing it. No! Where do they get Isekai to?
Oh, feudal
Where?
Japan!
They get Isekai to America? What happens? Where? How?
Let me
What
tell
did they
you.
get? What did they get hit by?
Okay.
Does
All right,
Shark
let me explain.
Coon come out and kill them?
Okay, so it's even better. So Stitch goes back to like feudal Japan and he meets with like a Japanese warlord and they're like best friends. This exists. I am not shitting. That's why I'm like just incredulous. I'm like, really? We're just now getting a live action Lilo and Stitch? Like, I thought they would have done this like over a decade ago. I'm just surprised it's happening now. So that's why I'm kind of like indifferent to it. I'm like, yeah, it's like on brand. I mean, it's literally been like Lilo and Stitch from like day one.
I'm legitimately having trouble processing it.
Oh, you know what? I'll find it while you're here just processing your soul.
I can't. That actually hurts my head. I'm. Good. Jesus. Good God. Okay. All right.
Oh.
What?
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I actually found it from Impulse Gamer. Where is the
I don't.
link?
I-
Haha. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna put it in our private chat, and then Brock, you can bring this up. I don't know what I'm doing because I'm at a bad angle right now. Here we go.
I don't even know what are we. Oh my.
I love whenever we break, Brock.
What is? How do? What is? Who makes these decisions? Who? Fucking.
Stitch makes a shitload of money in Japan. Like, it is the biggest franchise behind Mickey Mouse.
This was in 2021?
Like I said, like, probably half of Disney's income in Japan is slowly off of Stitch merchandise. Like, I shit you not.
Stitch does not say anything except his name, so most of the dialogue. So he's a Pokemon in this?
The
Dear.
Stitchverse is intense.
We're moving on from that. Good God. Okay. Okay. Anyway. All right. On to some gaming stuff. Dear God, where's my mouse? So, a new first-party studio has been formed at PlayStation, Dark Outlaw Games. Their head is Jason Blundell. Jason Blundell and his team have been working in the shadows and will step into light when they have more to talk about. They've been working for a while. He and his team are not interested in doing fanfare. The project has been in development for some time now, but they're not ready to talk about it. Blundell is a Treyarch co-founder, producer, and creative director, mostly known for his work on Call of Duty Zombies. He's done Star Lancer, Wolverine's Revenge, Catwoman, Zondu the Next, Roots, Call of Duty 3, Spider-Man 3, 007 Quantum Solace, and an assload of Call of Duties. So, whatever is going to be a first-person shooter, I can imagine. And getting a Treyarch co-founder to be a studio head for a first-party studio is big.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm down
awesome.
for that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
especially with with his pedigree in zombies in particular. Zombies has always been my favorite thing about Call of Duty anyway, so.
That'll be interesting if you can come up with like an alternative version of that.
Yeah, as long as, don't forget about single player gamers, please.
I got a
maybe
feeling.
Stop doing all the live service shit.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's going to, because I remember the surprise of Zombies when you just beat World at War and then they just shoved you in a shack.
Yeah.
Like another moment like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I can see that happening.
We'll have to see. All right.
Yeah.
Another update on Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil 9 will be a reinvention for the franchise, similar
Okay.
to 4 and 7 that were transformative to the franchise's style, plays differently than the recent games, and the reveal will come later this year. We've had first and third person over the shoulder. I don't know how much bigger of a transition, unless it's going to be turn-based,
Oh God.
that you could do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. I hope that we get familiar characters, though. I don't mind them changing up the gameplay or changing up the perspective, but I hope that we get like Jill and
Yeah,
maybe some classic characters come back.
it sounds like
That'd
there's a
be
shit
nice.
ton that are going to be in it as main and minor characters.
Yeah, yeah.
All
I'm
right.
down.
So, Silent Hill F got some more info. They had a Silent Hill, I think it was like a transmission or something the other day. And it is
Mhm.
the first game in the franchise to actually get a content and mature 18 plus in Japan in the entire series.
Interesting.
Which honestly, that's wild.
That, yeah, it's nuts. But so we're gonna read it out. Please read before playing. This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. This game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and culture at that time. These depictions do not reflect on the opinions or values of the developers or any individuals involved. If we feel uncomfortable at any point while playing, please take a break or speak to someone you trust.
Ooh, jeez.
Hmm.
Ooh, Jesus.
Interesting.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never had them put that. Go talk to someone and someone you trust. I'm kind of terrified of this game now.
Yeah. What? That's gonna be a heavy one.
That's insane. But yeah, that took me by surprise. But do have some other stuff for it. In the 1960s Japan, Shizumu Kanako's secluded town of Ibi Sakakawa is consumed by a sudden fog, transforming her home into a haunting nightmare. As the town falls into a silent and the fog thickens, Hinako must navigate the twisted paths of, I'm going to say that wrong, so I'm not trying again, solving complex puzzles and confronting grotesque monsters to survive. Immerse yourself in Hanako's world, imagined by the renowned author Ryukishi 07, who is apparently, I didn't know this beforehand, a very well-renowned Japanese horror author, known for writing some fucked up shit. While entrancing music, which it got Akira Yamaoka back, which that's a very good sign, and beautiful visuals with a gripping tale of doubt, regret, and inescapable choices, will Hanako embrace the beautiful hidden terror, beauty hidden within the terror, or will she succumb to the madness that lies ahead? Discover in the new chapter of Silent Hill series, blending psychological horror with a haunting Japanese setting. It's still crazy to me that we're going to have Silent Hill in somewhere that's not basically just the town I grew up in. So that's exciting. And I also saw in a thing that there's going to be no guns in it. It's going to be all melee weapons.
Oh.
So you have to get
interesting.
up close and personal. The game is going to be like to ring and kill you. When I get a psychological warning that says I should go talk to someone I trust before I've played the game, that's ay. All right. Anyway, so my Twitter was exploding about 2 days after we said we weren't doing the podcast from a lot of Xbox people, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I found out something very small that apparently pissed off a lot of people. Starfield has added the PlayStation logo to the Creation Hub, indicating that it's coming to PlayStation soon. That apparently was enough to piss people off, because somehow you didn't see that coming. I'm probably still not going to play it.
I don't think you should.
I've said it before. That game, it looks genuinely like it could be a ton of fun. But
Yeah.
I look like I would be paralyzed with choice of what the fuck to do. People were building mechs in the reveal trailer.
Yeah.
Like, I have 3 different versions of Skyrim and have not played any of them. I just don't know if I would just get lost and not know what the hell I was doing. When I have enough friends tell me that they've played these games but have never gotten to the end of them. I put 120 hours into a single playthrough of Red Dead. If I hear people say they have like 250 hours into something that didn't hit the end in a single player game, I don't need that. I'm all for long games, but all right. Another bit of PlayStation news. People Can Fly, who have made a game that I know me and Kiona are a fan of, Bulletstorm.
Yes.
They made Outriders. They made...
Yep.
What was that Gears of War game?
Judgment?
Judgment. People Can Fly has entered an agreement with Sony Interactive Entertainment for a game based on a Sony IP, and it's codenamed Project Delta. Do not think that Delta means anything, because I just think it's how they name their games, because they have another one they're developing called Project Charlie.
So it's just a designation that they use.
Yeah, so I had some options down, and I know that that Bree and Mike probably haven't played most of them. But Kiona, would you want back SOCOM, Killzone, Resistance, or MAG?
I would want either Killzone or Resistance. I think Killzone is ripe for a reimagining or a reinvention, and I think Resistance is definitely something that's missing from the PlayStation portfolio, so to speak. I think it would be very cool to see either one of those come back. MAG would be interesting, but it would be very multiplayer focused, and SOCOM, same thing.
Wasn't MAG that one that had that unbelievably stupid huge lobby?
Yeah, and also SOCOM kind of has, like, again, it's kind of the Call of Duty clone sort of thing, so I would like to see more of a Killzone Resistance comeback than either of the other two.
Killzone's great, but Guerrilla's not doing anything
SOCOM's cool.
Horizon for a while.
SOCOM's cool, but what happened to Zipper anyway? Are they still around, Zipper Interactive?
Got me, man. I have no idea.
I don't know what happened to them.
They
probably got absorbed, or the studio just went out of business.
I wouldn't doubt it. One last big thing on PlayStation that somehow I like how this information comes out now. PlayStation banned Jonah Hill from touching the PS2 console in Superbad. Jonah's character was quote unquote too vile to touch a PlayStation console, and Sony said we can't have him interact with our products.
That's
what the
random.
Fuck?
Brands, baby. I mean, they do understand that he was playing a character, right?
What? That was the part of
what do you think is gonna dry hump it?
I don't know. I'm like McLovin was with cops, like buying alcohol illegally, like because he wanted to have sex. Was that the big thing?
I guess. Like,
I don't even remember.
Outriders was a lot of fun. Umbreon. I actually got a big kick out of it, and there's
it wasn't bad.
People Can Fly's writing. I get a big kick out of.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
I'll kill your dicks. She's gonna kill our dicks. That game I would love a fucking sequel to, because they set one up and we're never gonna get it.
Bulletstorm, man.
All right. So
Good.
Hideki Kamiya says he left Platinum because he couldn't allow himself to kill his soul. The reason I left Platinum Games is because the company's way of thinking was gradually shifting towards a modern model of game development that doesn't place importance on the creator's individuality. Live
service. That's what they were trying to do. Yep. Anyway,
they even created a studio specifically for that Babylon's Fall thing, and then it went
nowhere, and it sucked.
Yeah, even if it meant the end of my career as a creator, I wouldn't allow myself to kill my soul in order to work in an environment that I didn't agree with.
I agree with you, Hideki.
Yeah. He also, and not long after that, put a tweet out to Phil Spencer saying, "Let's try and still make Scalebound.
Let's do Scalebound. Fuck yes." Dude, for real.
Yeah. Like, I think a giant chunk of what Scalebound was turned into Bayonetta 3. Because, like, calling the monsters and all of that, like, I think that was what that was. And I think a bit of the combat with, like, the sword and whatever might be what's in Ninja Gaiden 4.
Yes, I think so. I think you're right about that.
Yeah. They said it'd be a big thing because you'd have to get the IP from Platinum. But, like, if you could get the IP away from Platinum, that would be kind of sick. Because Scalebound looked awesome. it was basically Flavorite brand Nero, but the character looked awesome, and the stuff was like set to songs and other things, and it was fantastic. All right, moving on. An Ubisoft shareholder claims the company failed to disclose that they were in meetings with EA and Microsoft about IP acquisition. There's been a lot of rumors going around that they want to sell some of their IPs that they don't actually make big budgets off of and keep the ones that they do, i.e. Warner Brothers, and we're only going to make games about Batman and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. So it's like, how about you? Because from the sounds of it, like how their thing is, if Shadows doesn't do well, which, hey, I bought Shadows and I'm going to try it. Legitimately for the Japanese setting, I tried it, even though it's whatever. Now it looks like a ton of fun to play through. Yeah, but in their defense, the PS2 is a sacred relic. It sounds like that if this goes bad, they might have to like restructure the company as a whole underneath Tencent. So that means like shifting all sorts of shit out. And if they start selling off IPs, like people forget they have a lot of shit like Rainbow Six, The Division.
They do.
They have a lot of shit in there that they don't do anything with. And everybody wants Watch Dogs. No one? Got it, yeah. Watch Dogs.
Could have been good.
Could have been if they cared. All right. Someone said, just give me something. Someone sent me this, and I had to look at it, and I just thought this was funny, so I had to put it in. On Xbox Project Keenan had handheld details. Price $4.99 to $5.99. Runs Windows, Steam, and Epic Game Store. Cannot run your Xbox library. Only play anywhere in cloud gaming. Manufactured by Asus, and it will be revealed this summer, apparently.
So it's an Xbox that can't play Xbox?
Apparently, Xbox isn't everywhere.
They're gonna release. They're gonna release Project Kel, and that one will play Xbox.
Like,
and it will love orange soda.
That's like crazy.
Yes,
is that for like either $200 like less, you could get like a Switch or Switch 2, whatever the price range is, or for $200 more, you could get a Steam Deck. Why the hell would you get this?
Here's the problem: the thing they're talking about, I got for PlayStation for $200. This is what they're talking about, except this can play my library once it gets the updates they're working on. Which apparently they are working on a actual handheld. The rumor is that they're working on an actual honest-to-God handheld. I had to switch my PS5 because I was out of batteries for my... The fact that to this day they do not just have Xbox controllers that don't require batteries makes me want to put a hole through a wall. Why? Yep. But you could buy rechargeables. Why do you need to buy rechargeables? We have the technology. But it's the rumor going around is that they're going to release a handheld in like side by side with whatever the actual fuck this new Xbox console, PC, whatever is supposed to be. I don't know, but I love that it's getting worked on now after supposedly the Portal was going to flop and then it became the highest bought fucking hardware accessory in the planet for like the past year. But anyway, all right. So we got some news about We are getting almost out of the games news, I promise. We got a lot of movie stuff to talk about. All right. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, we got some new news for. Sony's creator video series had Neil Druckmann and Alex Garland 28 days later in Annihilation. We're talking, and he said the recap, this takes place 2,000 years in an alternate future that deviated in the 1980s. Naughty Dog spent years coming up with a detailing timeline. Druckmann jokes that we made a game with The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative choices that got a lot of hate, and a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people hated it. Exactly. The joke is, you know what? Let's do something that people won't care much about. Let's make a game about faith and religion. That's fucking funny.
I do admit this Neil Druckmann, he's got cojones.
He does. I will, like, the guy will take death threats and just be like, fuck it. We won Game of the Year. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
he's like, after The Last of Us 2, you know what? I can fucking take anything.
Pretty much. Pretty much. This new religion pops up and becomes prominent where the alternate timeline deviates. They spent years
Okay.
building out the religion from an original prophet and how it changed and evolved over the centuries. Religion takes place on a planet called Semperia?
Semperian?
And then the communication stops. They wanted to make a game about being lonely. So many games we've done are about all the allies being with you, talking. We really want you to be lost in a place where you're really confused about what happened here, who the people are, who are the people here, what was their history. No one's heard from Semperia in 600 years. Jordan, the main character, has to figure out what happened, and if she hopes to ever escape. Bonus on the side, Alex Garland thinks that The Last of Us is better than 28 Days Later and hugely inspired by The Last of Us. Like, okay. Like,
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that, but all right, cool.
I'm sure they're not paying him a boatload of money to say that.
Well, I don't know. But, all right. Moving on. Forza Horizon 5 will require a Microsoft account to play on PS5. Remember when people got really upset when you had to have a PlayStation login to play stuff on PC?
Yeah. Yeah.
Notice how this isn't turning into a giant thing here somehow?
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid.
It's weird.
It's really stupid. It says raising preservation problems. All right. One thing that I thought was cool is that they had they are starting a service in the UK where you can rent out PS5s and Portals, and I think there's actually a rent to own thing too, to where like you can just get used to see if you like one and then rent it for an insanely stupidly cheap price until you can get one of your own. Because all your stuff's going to carry over. I'm like, that's actually a kind of a cool idea. I remember when I used to rent a Super Nintendo from like my store in town. I always thought that was cool because I couldn't afford one. Give or take, eventually the amount that I rented would have bought one. But that was a really cool idea. All right, last big one. Hell is Us. We got a lot more info on how it plays because it looks interesting as fuck, but I have no idea what the hell it's about. All right, there are no quest markers, compass, or world map. Use clues in the game to figure out what to do, where to go, chart your own path to your parents. Talk to various NPCs throughout the game and discover things in the world and uncover clues. Track your investigation using an in-game Tosh tablet, where you can also access your inventory and customize loadout, etc. There are many side investigations and secrets you can miss, but if you're curious and observant, the most stumble upon some incredible discoveries. Core philosophy is simple. If your instinct tells you there's something to do in an area, there probably is. Player plattering doesn't mean you need to consistently overthink every step in progress. Many elements will be clear and intuitive. Our belief is that you don't need quest markers to navigate and advance the adventure. For those who love a challenge, for some of the deeper secrets require some keen observation and deduction to be uncovered. You guys think you would like a game where you basically don't have any sort of navigational compass in it? It's like legit real life in this land, you're this person.
Is this like how big is the world?
I don't know.
Because if we're talking
there's like no map at all.
Ubisoft,
You're just
huge,
like
I don't know if there's exactly no map or if they're going to have you uncover chunks of it on your own, but there's no like quest markers or like compasses or like thing telling you to go to a place. You just go. I'd imagine you'd have a map that will show you how to get back to spots you've been. I don't know if they're going to be that hardcore, but it's interesting.
I
Yeah,
guess I'm
definitely
okay with
interesting.
it so long as it doesn't leave me
giant?
just confused the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. I like
Yeah,
that someone's
'cause-
trying something different.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too. I like that for instance, in Avowed, there's like a complete, like there's a mission that you can miss if you don't explore, like an area or something. I kind of just stumbled upon it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in
And,
Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah, a lot of that in Cyberpunk too. Yeah.
And I like new ways to navigate, like not a big giant thing. Like I love the Ghost of Tsushima
Yeah.
where you'd hit the button and the wind would blow in the direction of where you
that
had to
was cool.
go. That was really sick.
Makes it
Oh.
feel like less of a checklist.
Yes, I like that. I've gotten an appreciation for HUDless. Like you're just there
Mhm.
and nothing pops up until you're actually like in a scene. Alrighty, so now we're on to the movie stuff. We got some pictures from Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
And we got some extra details. Apparently, this version of Johnny Cage is a washed Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I still buy what Carl Urban looks like. I like
Same.
Oh
that
yeah.
being washed means like Carl was perfect for it because they didn't get a young, hip happening dude that's the current movie star.
Mhm.
That's different. I like that quite a bit. I'm trying to figure out, is that the girl who plays Sonya behind him?
Yeah, that is. Yep.
She's got a
That's
lot
right.
longer hair this time around.
Yeah.
That's what was bugging me. All right, and then
I
we
think
got.
it looks good.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it doesn't look good. It was just I was like,
Oh no, I mean the overall the picture, of all four of them there looks pretty good.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
Makad Brooks as Jax every more time I see it. He's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then one of my favorite looks from the new thing. This look for Katana's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, they got the fans right, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
got me
everything, yeah,
excited.
good.
That is
Looks
spectacular.
good.
And one thing that I really like because it is glorious. That's a fucking
Dude, the
scary looking guy.
guy who plays him is like a beast too.
Martin Ford. All right, I need to
Freaking
hold on.
huge.
Hold on. Martin Ford. For those that don't know, this guy is a fracking freak. So, where is? Yeah, that's a good one. This is the guy who's playing Shao Kahn, and
Mhm.
yeah, he's a big old boy, big old boy.
Yep.
Dear Jesus.
Yeah, lore
Look.
accurate Shao Kahn is like fucking terrifying.
Look at that guy. And apparently, he is a giant teddy bear. From everyone who's talked about him in person, he is like the definition of a gentle giant. Apparently, he's the nicest dude on the planet. He just looks like he could eat you. But and then we have one other one, which doesn't give you a whole ton, but I still appreciate it because
Oh, I still
It's the
love it
boy.
because we're getting Scorpion back.
it's the boy.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
goodness.
Hiroyuki. All of it
And
looks
it's
good.
still Hiroyuki Sanada. Yep, that's
Yes.
awesome. I
Yeah,
am sad
wow.
that I am
This is-
sad that Cole Young is still listed in the cast of characters. I hope that he dies in this movie. Please let that happen. No hate to the actor, just saying the character sucks.
We'll have to
But
see
it's-
what they do with.
But it's so
something
crazy.
different with him.
Sonata, from when the first movie came out, and now, like, his career is like.
His
his
career
career
just
is
skyrocketed
skyrocketed.
in the last couple
Well
years.
deserved.
Which, yeah, exactly. He deserves every bit of it. He's awesome. But yeah, no, I'm very happy for him. Alrighty. So now we've got a crap ton of Marvel stuff. Like a crap ton, but it's all around the same things, just from different articles. 10,000% deserved. You are correct. All right. So Scarlett Johansson says she's not coming back as Black Widow. Natasha's dead. She is dead. She's dead. Okay. They just don't want to believe that. So how many dollars of donuts that she shows up in one of the two Avengers films?
Oh yeah, she definitely shows up. Secret Wars, she's there.
Like, come on. That was like freaking
Too
Sadie
much
Sink.
protestation.
That was like Sadie Sink at whatever show she was on. Oh, that's a cool idea. Did he talk to you? I can't say anything about that.
I mean, if anything, like, it's probably not going to be like our Natasha.
Oh no, probably
Yeah,
not.
it'll be like Earth 375 Natasha.
What would be nuts if she actually practices and does the entire movie in an authentic Russian accent?
Now that would be fun.
No hate on her, but that was like I had to laugh when I was watching Two Best Friends play through the Punisher. That's this PS3 game. I believe it's PS3 or it was PS3 or PS2. But all of a sudden Black Widow shows up and then Pat was like, "Why is she?" I was confused for a second that Black Widow was speaking with a Russian accent because I'm so used to Scarlett Johansson. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. All right. Now on to the big Marvel stuff. Marvel apparently gave the Russos baseball cards that include every MCU actor, how expensive they are, and how many movies they have left on their contract. It's the
Sell
only
it
way to
on
keep track of
eBay.
the amount of characters that we're working with in these two films.
Well, you know what? Considering how the Electric State panned out, I honestly believe this story because apparently they need cards to be told what to do and how to tell the story.
Also, the movie is supposed to come out in May of 2026, and we don't know who the fuck is
Ooh.
in the movie.
I don't think you're going to
Yeah.
know
I
until
don't think
the
we're gonna
trailers,
know.
until you see the trailer
Probably.
or set leaks. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to know jack shit. Whether that's intentional or they legitimately don't know.
Well, they should probably figure that out eventually, or else.
Really?
How about we just don't figure that out? Just at the very end, is everybody's in the movie.
I would just don't give us a trailer. Just have
Yeah.
us.
I
show
would
up
die
on-
for that.
Just like
That
have
would
us
be
show up
hilarious, honestly.
on the day
Yeah.
and experience the movie.
Yeah. That was what it was like with Endgame. I'm like, you don't need to show me a trailer. It's Endgame. I get it. Cool.
Yeah.
Show me a bunch of stuff of the Avengers movies leading up to it, and then like some dialogue from Cap. I'm like, everyone's going to this movie. I do not need a trailer. Because it's one of those things where it's like, now this one, wait, see, Marvel shows and you watch for nothing. I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do all of that. Because but anyway. The Russo brothers say the upcoming Avengers films will be a new beginning for the MCU. We told an ending story with Endgame, and now we're going to tell a beginning. Joe Russo also says the upcoming Avengers films will draw inspiration from both the 1980s and the 2010 Secret War comic books. We are creating our own version of that story.
That's fair.
Which is what, they've done with most of the Avengers films. Give or take, the last two were not exactly not exactly like what I want to say.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Not exactly the Infinity Gauntlet. It was basically the idea you have to stop Thanos, but like there was like Nebula wasn't doing the stuff she was doing, Drac wasn't doing the stuff he was doing, like all the characters were there.
Deviations from it.
Yeah, it wasn't why can't I think of the word? An adaptation of that story exactly.
Creative liberties.
Yeah, creative liberties. Yeah, it was just basically he's got Infinity Gauntlet. We're gonna make everything, whatever. We'll make it work. All right. So the Russo brothers confirm that Tony Stark's death in Endgame is a part of Doctor Doom's story in Avengers: Doomsday. We can't explain that it's a part of the story, but there's nobody else in the world who can play this character like he's about to. I guarantee you, I've said why it's going to be part of his story on this podcast 400 times.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be Spider-Man recognizes him as Tony, but he's not Tony.
Yep.
Do you think? I've been hearing this theory going around. Do you think Doctor Doom will inhabit the body of the dead Tony Stark?
I think that would be the stupidest decision they've ever made because it doesn't give them anything. What do they gain from that?
Yeah, I only bring it up because I've heard that theory floating around, and I'm like, God, if they do that, that's
why?
Everybody has to come up with That's the thing that ever since movie discourse is like, oh, trust me, I got the smart idea they're gonna do. They're gonna no. Do you and then I'm like, can you read those words back that you typed out in that tweet and then tell me you would send them again with an actual clear mind?
Honestly, I just feel like just drop kicking half the time. See, this is why I'm not on Twitter anymore, because I'm like, I don't feel like I should have the sensation of having a concussion every time I open an app.
It's not
me,
that bad.
I definitely felt that this weekend with all the everything.
Oh, don't worry. Jacob, I'm utterly confused by your last statement.
Oh, I think he means the flashback when they go back in time. And they meet Howard.
I get that, but born in Endgame?
I think that Howard says a throwaway line saying that, "Oh, I got a kid on the way."
Oh, okay, got it. I thought there was something where a different version okay, I misunderstood how that was typed. Got it. And felt like the Earth was going to blow up. Like there's a discrepancy in when he was born from when I'm not putting anything to years or anything with comic book movies because they've had screw ups with stuff being in placement. I do not put any breadth of anything on exact years to dates because the more you go into it, you're going to screw up every movie franchise you've ever loved.
Yeah, like in the comics, even Marvel operates on like a sliding scale timeline. So
All comics do.
don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Don't worry about it. But all right, one last thing about Doomsday. Marvel Studios is reportedly exploring the idea of adding animated universe and characters into Avengers Doomsday. It would be a similar thing to Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
You know what? Honestly, they should just do something stupid like this. Like if Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to be
Yeah, get Christopher Barnes Spider-Man.
Yeah? All right. Well, one last thing I will say because I don't get people. Okay, so everything, and I'm speaking hyperbolically here, everything in Phase 4 has been absolute trash, correct, according to everyone? For the most part?
you guys over there can think that. I'm gonna be a normal person.
The most consensus from everyone is that they bitch that most of the movies have been bad, right? I'm not saying that's our opinions. I'm just saying the general consensus of people that like to bitch online, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they think.
Okay.
that is
One of those movies that they thought was absolute ass bags was Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who directed it?
Sam Raimi.
Now everyone's mad that he's not directing Doomsday. Y'all said his Marvel movie was shit. But now you're going to flip and say, no, it would be better if he did this one. I would like it then.
Yeah, you don't get to say, "Oh, we want the Russos again," and say, "No, you take backs." When you realize, oh, wait, the Russos, outside of the Marvel system, are kind of inconsistent.
But it's just like, if you're going to call a director's choice of how he makes a film, and the reason I saw was, yeah, we'd have this movie that was so weird and off handle, it would be awesome.
Like, have you ever seen a Sam Raimi movie?
No, that's what they said. They said it would be awesome, and that's why they would like it in Doomsday. You had all that shit in Multiverse of Madness. Wanda was being stupid and like cackling at the camera, and you had like a 1980s like fadeaway resolve shot, and you all thought it was stupid. You would have had that for a 3-hour-long movie. And you would have hated it!
Like, low-key, honestly, I mean, I've been touch and go with Phase 4, but Multiverse of Madness is probably one of the few movies... Yeah, that was one of the few movies that I genuinely liked.
That fight
because
with the piano keys?
Identity.
Yeah. That fight with the piano notes and stuff was one of the most creative things I've seen in a movie ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Love that stuff.
I didn't think anything was bad about it. Did I think that the one scene with Bruce Campbell was a bit overdone?
A bit, but it's par for the
Just
course.
I can see that.
But it is what it is. So I see the movies and wonder what we could have. That is one that I'm actually okay with on this. Because he was Quentin was one of the people that was up for that. And Shang-Chi was another one that I just thought was a good movie, but the fight choreography in Shang-Chi,
amazing,
is stellar. Ire Legion, hello.
Hey, Ire.
Hello. All right.
Ire is my DM for the Dungeons and Dragons session that we've been doing, so it's good to see him.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, World Weaver.
Moving on. Spider-Man Noir series may get a black and white release alongside the colored release. Actor Lucas Haas, I believe that's how you say that. It's not Haas because of the way but we filmed it I think it may come out in both black and white and color, but we filmed it and the monitors were all black and white. So you get this feeling, and it looked very, very authentic, to the point of where I would actually go and look at the monitor and think we're looking at some older footage. But it was actually just a monitor of what the camera was looking at the time. They did a beautiful job with filters and all that stuff, making it look like the genuine old 1930s black and white film. But obviously, just the writing and Nick is incredible. It's just a really fun project, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. I think you should 1,000% do that. I would prefer to see it in black and white over color.
Same.
Mhm.
Like I would even go as far as like have old like 1930s, 1940s style title cards for each
absolutely.
episode, because that would be pretty fun.
Like intentional old school
Right.
film grain, like
Yeah.
the like flaky shit.
Well, if they are doing that, I really hope that they do shoot it in 4x3. If
Yes.
they really want to be authentic.
That would be sick. I'd like that quite a bit. All right. So I spoke earlier that I got to meet Claire from Claymore. I don't know if anyone else is excited about this. I will once I start seeing details about it, but there's actually a live action adaptation of Claymore in the works. For those that don't know, that anyone who's seen that anime, and this is coming from a guy that liked the way The Last of Us 2 ended. They did an anime original ending in the anime, and it is the ending of The Last of Us done wrong, in my opinion. They spare a genocidal maniac, all because she doesn't know what she's doing at the time.
Oh god, that sounds like such a 2000s original anime ending. Oh god.
Like, she's about ready to kill her, and they go, wait, she's actually not in her right mind. I know she killed the person who was your mother figure and like 600 other people, but just stop, Claire. We can leave. And the manga, which don't need to tell people I'm slightly a fan of, this manga is one of the most batshit things I've ever read in my entire life. Like, the way that it ends, it is insanely accurate in the anime up until that ending. And then there's a time skip where the ending stops, and then there is like chapters upon chapters more of the most ludicrous shit I've ever read in a manga. It just doesn't stop. They introduce more characters than you know what to keep track of. I thought you could only do so many variations of a person in white armor, silver eyes, and blonde hair. But no, this person is very creative. But I did have to admit that I put that on my Facebook, and then one of my friends who's a big Attack on Titan fan, now the question is it going to be as good as the live action Attack on Titan? To which I responded, nothing can be that good. For those that don't know, they didn't adapt anything properly in that Attack on Titan movie. There is Black Hawk helicopters in the first scene of that Attack on Titan movie. And the wall is just a bunch of plastered iron, like welded together with tank fragments in it. Y'all want a trip, go watch that. It is... They like make a giant-sized adolescent Titan, and it's one of the freakiest things I've seen in my life. I think I might have shown it on this podcast. I'm not sure, but...
No, I think you did, like, really early on. But
God.
especially now that knowing what we did with the manga, because I think those reveals came out after those movies came out. Like, the implications, like, even worse.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad. And like they look like oh man, just like their uniforms and everything. It is it's something. All right, so a new trailer for the Devil May Cry show came out with some Papa Roach in it, and I am not gonna lie, it is one of my favorite things that has ever been committed with the Devil May Cry property slapped on top of it. Never in my life did I think that Papa Roach would fit, but Papa Roach fucking fit. Like, I'm getting what he's trying to say, and now everything in this trailer is great. Nothing of this seems out of sorts for Devil May Cry. And they've admitted that, like, this is definitely different. And you can tell it is, because there's monsters that Dante doesn't meet for, like, 30 years that are in this trailer. People that don't know, he's, like, 60 in Devil May Cry 5. He's 18 in Devil May Cry 3.
Oh.
A lot of time goes by. People just forget because he's had white hair ever since he was a kid, but a lot happens. And a thing that a lot of people are speculating is that so the Tom Holland of the Devil May Cry series is a guy by the name of Dan Southworth. I love him to death that he knows this. He revealed that Devil May Cry 5 was a thing on accident at a random panel in the middle of nowhere at a con.
I think I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, and I also have to say, like, I am a completely straight man. Like, but I don't know if there's anyone in show business that has a better jawline than this individual. I just have to, like...
I mean, I get it.
Like, wow! Every time I see a picture of him, I'm just like, damn, and you were a Power Ranger at one point. But actually, that's how a lot of people got their jobs in Devil May Cry, because Ruben Langdon, Daniel Southworth, and Johnny Young Bosch, the guy who plays Virgil and Nero, both tried to play Dante, applied or auditioned for it, and then both got different roles, and then Ruben Langdon, the guy who plays Dante for the stunt work, openly asked for Power Rangers people because they know how to over-exaggerate stunts. So, like, the hits and everything when they're actually mocapping people would work easier with Power Rangers people. Like, that was awesome. Now, the thing that is, there's two awesome things in this. The reason why I bring that up, everyone thinks that a Devil May Cry either 3 or 1 remake is coming, because even when he admitted at this new panel, he's like, I'm kind of known as the guy that says stuff I shouldn't, but I had to record something the other day that was very difficult because I had to use a younger version of my Virgil voice. Dante is not Dante or Ruben Langdon in this. It's Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Nero, who wouldn't be around in either Devil May Cry 1 or 3. And then Virgil also isn't in this as Daniel Southworth. It's Robbie Draymond. Also, Virgil looks awesome and he sounds awesome as Virgil. So that's kind of bringing a lot of credence to they think that there's a Devil May Cry remake coming because they were doing the voice work and all this at separate times. And they couldn't get them to work on both. But the fucking coolest thing about this, and I didn't see this coming from a mile away, is that Kevin Conroy's in this show.
Yeah. That's the cool
I
part.
heard.
As
That's pretty awesome.
as VP Baines, a brand new character to Devil May Cry. When I tell you I'm watching that trailer and I heard that line come across and went, I think that sounded like Kevin. But hearing Kevin in something other than Batman, I'm like, nah, I'm just copium in it at this point. And then Adi Shankar goes, no, all of you heard that correctly. That is the Kevin Conroy. Like, the lines were recorded like 4 years ago.
And this is coming out in a few weeks.
Yeah, so this has been in development like a while, I guess.
Forever. Because a lot of people were like accusing them of AI-ing his voice. Like, do you all know how long animation takes? Like, legit animation? It takes a while. Like, ay. But speaking of AI, Tony Gilroy says he won't be releasing the scripts of Andor publicly so they don't get used in AI models. Why help the fucking robots any more than you can?
I don't blame him. I mean, that's why I don't publish like my full scripts online unless it's in private, like specifically for that reason.
God bless him.
God bless him. It's fantastic. All right, so I forgot this was a thing, but that canceled Powerpuff Girls trailer resurfaced.
Oh, you better believe I saved it because I'm like, oh, this is going to get a DCMA takedown. I'm like, yes, this shouldn't have been leaked, but also this show's been dead for like almost a half decade at this point.
Like, I was rewatching it before the podcast started, and Mike made a good point where he's like, this looks like an SNL parody. And then I started watching it more, and I'm like, this legitimately looks like a porn parody.
And here's the weirdest part. Why bring back Tom Kenny as the narrator?
I don't know. Like, that is on a laundry list of things that I don't know.
It's just based off that trailer. It looks like they made every single wrong decision.
Now, correct me. Oh boy. What was that character's name? The cross-dressing crab devil.
Oh, him.
Him. Was
Yeah.
he in this? Whatever that thing was that in this trailer somewhere?
If it was, I didn't recognize.
Because that's what I'm wondering, if that character got changed so much that it was a regular looking thing. 'Cause that's not a human being. Because, like, we saw that Mojo Jojo got whatever. Like, the CW can do CGI well. The only stuff that looked horribly bad was sometimes when they're doing fight scenes in The Flash, when he's running. But it's a TV budget, and from what I understand, the CW has legitimately never been profitable, so I can't blame them there. But all the flying and everything they did in this, it looks like this show was made with 5 cents. Like, you can see them on wires in front of a green screen.
Yeah, which if they're supposed to be like a satirical thing, like they didn't lean hard enough to it. Honestly, and I kind of theorized this, I think one of the reasons, other than like literally nothing works, that this project got canceled is like how it's structured, and the plot is eerily similar to Barbie.
I suppose, yeah.
Oh, I can see that.
They're even down to the
Yeah.
Dua Lipa song.
Yeah, and it's just... people are telling, like, Donald Faison was in this, Daisy, Wake from...
Oh, Chloe Bennett.
Chloe Bennett, thank you. She was, like, she's an incredibly talented actress. I just... All right, we're going to discuss something that I don't know if I should feel bad about. So, the trailer for the Stan Lee, the final chapter, just came out. The documentary uncovers how Stan Lee was exploited by his former business partners for financial gain, directed by John Bolerjack, who worked closely with Lee during the last 4 years of his life. I've said on this podcast before that I met Stan Lee about 1.5 years before he died. He did look genuinely happy and was sharp as a tack when he was on the panel that I saw him in. And he smiled and was unbelievably kind to me when I got to take a picture with him.
Yeah.
Now, looking back at this and seeing this, like, I was inches away from the jackass that I'm seeing in all of these. That darker skinned gentleman, the bigger guy that's in all these scenes. That was the guy who was his handler at the convention that I was at. So it's me thinking that Stan was being nice because he had to be there. Because I initially said, like, how the fuck is Stan Lee in Wisconsin right now? Like, this was half a year after his wife died.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
And now you can have the opposite effect where Stan wouldn't want to be cooped up in his house just thinking about how his wife is dead. But you're seeing in these where, like, he's asking to get out of things.
Yeah. It seems like abusive what they were doing to him, and very, very exploitative.
Even the
Um,
very premise of this documentary
Yeah.
feels
Oh yeah,
exploitive.
it's like made funny. I'm
exploitative.
like, so if you had
Why
like,
didn't you
all this
release
evidence
it?
for years,
Yeah.
because it's clearly like textbook elder abuse. I mean,
Yes, it is.
But
like, I don't
understand
care
it
if
wasn't
he
just
was
his
from his
business
tech,
partners.
Like he was a
Yeah.
very like Stan Lee was at a very advanced age. Like he
Yes.
should not have been doing regular travel. Like if he wanted to do
No.
a few cons a year, okay, whatever, but not like that.
No. And I understand. And supposedly there was stuff with one of his daughters that was rough too, that might have been taking advantage of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a guy that's led such a happy life. And like, you hear him attempting to have fun. Like, he was making masturbation jokes at that freaking panel that he was at, which I did not expect. But you see this, and it's needing help, and all these people doing all these interviews about how they weren't expecting that Stan was like this, and like, we've seen him at all these cons and all these other things. If you're not directly working with him anymore, and you wouldn't lose anything from saying something, and you need help, like, people have, like, in this trailer, they say that people have saw this documentary, but he needs money to help finishing it. And have 4 years of footage? 4 years? You've been documenting elder abuse?
Yeah.
And another thing that I'm going to say also, even if some of these conventions that Stan went to were a legitimate thing he wanted to do, which I'm going to assume a giant chunk of them weren't, especially after what we've seen. Some of the fucking egregiously horrible, just god-awful videos that I saw people posting, making fun of Stan's condition and posting them online.
Oh,
Like, there was videos
God.
of people asking, what's wrong with him? He's forgetting how to sign his name.
He
The motherfucker's
was like
96.
96, right?
Yeah, no, he was 95 when he passed away.
95. But
That's what I'm saying. He was at an advanced age that most human beings don't live to.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And y'all are getting to, against his will, at that point, meet one of the most famous people on the planet, who's known for helping in somewhat whatever it may be, with everything that went on at Marvel. I get it. Who helped bring joy to a lot of people. Why in the actual fuck are you sharing stuff like that? Why?
People suck.
I don't know.
Like,
People are gross.
now there's another one I didn't put a thing on, but I forgot what it was on. I've seen that they're also making it's a part of a series that I forgot what it is, but it's going to be on Max. Fan entitlement is a cancer, you're correct. That they're making an episode of a documentary thing about Jason David Frank and everything that happened with him in the tail end of his life. It's a part of a series of stuff on Max. I can't remember what it is, but anyone has heard half of the shit that supposedly went on in the last half of that dude's life. It's not good. And just be nicer to people.
Seriously.
The people that do things to make you happy, be nicer to them. They don't have to be out in public. They don't. Some are forced to be out in public. All right. Anyway, on to some nicer things. James Gunn reveals the text that he received from Jason Momoa the morning that Gunn became the head of DC Studios. Just 2 words, fucking Lobo. So it's almost like, and then James Gunn responded, dude, I've said you should have been Lobo for years, no lie. Crazy to think that all these people that are upset that James Gunn is ripping Jason Momoa out of Aquaman, that Jason Momoa was the first one to go, so I get to be Lobo now, right? Does anybody remember when he all of a sudden had this meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran and he was smiling like he just won the lottery?
I remember that.
Maybe he's gotten to play the role he wanted to play instead of Aquaman. Freaking crazy. It never ceases to amaze me that everyone is like, this is wrong, and he should be playing this character that I like instead of the one that he's 1,000% better for and he wanted to play.
And like, here's the crazy thing is, like, probably like DC's not going to touch Aquaman again for at least a decade.
Yeah, probably not.
I wouldn't say a decade, but when they do touch him, it's going to be a very different Aquaman. Because that'll be when they do their eventual Justice League movie. I don't see them not having him in there.
Mhm.
And I still think they should do the funniest fucking thing ever and make Alan Richardson Aquaman.
I hope.
Oh
I
God,
hope
yes,
they
that would
do.
be hilarious.
That would be awesome. Like, I know we said earlier they wouldn't even have to pay him to be Batman, but just to hear like someone go up and be like, yeah, man, he's great as Aquaman, or like say he was whatever, just like not realize that he was Aquaman for like 10 years already. And now he's built like a brick house, so he looks like he would actually be the Aquaman that can like. That's one thing that people don't understand about just how much of a problem Aquaman would actually be if they made him accurate to what he is. He lives on the ocean floor. Do you know what kind of pressure you have to be able to withstand to live down there? That man would be tanking almost anything that came at him. He would be a fucking problem if he was up on the surface.
Yep.
All right. Or if you just made Tom Kenny. No. Oh no, that guy passed. Who was the guy that played Mermaid Man?
Oh, Ernest Borgnine?
Ernest Borgnine. Like, if they somehow had an Easter egg of that there. Evil! Oh, yeah. All right. So, there is a new Resident Evil movie that is happening at Sony. Zach Kreger
Kreger, yeah.
is writing and directing and will make the franchise to its horror roots and be more faithful to the initial games. It's releasing in theaters in 2026. What has this guy done?
He did a movie back in 2022 called Barbarian,
Okay.
which is
Oh yeah,
awesome.
Barbarian. Yeah, that was
Nice.
a good movie.
Nice.
And then he's got another movie coming out either later this year or next year called Weapons.
Okay. Like, if they make this and give a shit and do it game by game, they could actually have a good series. Like, people gave those Mila Jovovich ones money. They weren't Resident Evil movies. They just happened to take place with a Resident Evil title slapped on them. Like, they care about that property if you give a shit. They didn't care about Monster Hunter because no one gave a shit about Monster Hunter in the Monster Hunter movie.
True.
People forget that Monster Hunter movie exists.
Yep.
Wait, would you want like just one movie for each game, or do you want like an original story, but just keeping with the style of the games?
I honestly would want a TV show based on the games. That would be my dream situation. But if you're going to do movies, either do them one at a time, or do like 2 and 1 by itself, and then 2 and 3 together. Because those movies take place within a day of each other. So smashing those two together into a single movie, not that big a deal, because you could cut out an assload of the filler shit where you're just looking for fucking keys inside of random vents, like you do in Resident Evil movies. So you can nicely knit those two together, but the rest of them, yeah, just do it one at a time, because we've seen what they try to do sometimes when they make an original thing, and I got to have mind control, like breakdancing in the Netflix thing. And then mutant caterpillars. Let's not do that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Resident Evil movie immediately after Underworld movie, and vice versa. Don't remember both stars, director's wife are in black latex and fighting a monster. Yeah, didn't Jovovich married him after the movie started coming out, and then Beckinsale was married before the movies came out, I think. But anyway, yeah, if they do it well, it can be amazing and actually make it like a horror movie. Yeah. Okay. So the saga with Drake continues, and I laughed at this till I cried. Universal Music Group has filed a scathing motion to dismiss Drake's New York lawsuit against them for promoting Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, claiming that Drake lost a rap battle that he provoked in which he willingly participated. Instead of accepting the loss like an unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve the wounds. The plaintiff's complaint was utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. His own record label went, no. Deal with it. This guy needs to never go out in public again. His own record label just said, shut up, you lost, deal with it. This is the most just like, hey, you challenge Kendrick. He whips you from pillar to post. You put out a lawsuit, not for him calling you a pedophile, but because you don't believe the streaming numbers. And then your music label goes, no, the numbers are accurate. You're a crybaby. You lost. Shut up. Have you ever seen anyone in show business lose this bad?
If Drake had thinner skin, it would be translucent.
It's unreal to me. When I saw this on Twitter and they're like, lost a rap battle he provoked, which he willingly participated in, and instead of accepting the loss like an unbothered rap artist he claims to be.
That is hard.
God, that's funny. That's fucking hilarious. I could just imagine Drake, freaking Kendrick going right now going, the label told him to shut up? What? And then he got called a pedophile at the Super Bowl. That was the definition of, I can take the fines. Avoided eye contact with the cameras until exactly when he said, hey, Drake. I'm like, you...
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. All right, so this is a topic of discussion that I thought has been stupid for fucking years. But now someone brought it up a little bit more succinctly. So the editor, Tom Brewer, was talking about Mary Jane and him getting back together after he was done with, I can't remember the name of the random love interest that Mary Jane had. This is a random guy's name. I want to say it's Tom,
Paul.
but I could be wrong. Paul? Thank you. Paul.
Everybody hates Paul.
Yes. He can
Not the Paul that we know, Brock, but
No,
the
not that
of
Paul.
The
I
was
Amazing
just about to say.
Spider-Man.
No, I love that Paul.
And the
I love
Amazing
that Paul.
Spider-Man comic.
And the Amazing Spider-Man comic. He can get away. He can get back with Mary Jane, but he just can't actually tie the knot with Mary Jane. Those are the ground rules going in if you're going to work on a whatever character. With Daredevil, you're not going to have to deal with the fact that he's blind.
So
What?
Tom Brevoort has said a couple of really dumb things in his tenure as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics right now, and
This is my first one. What were some other ones?
this is one of them. He said that that the Krakoa era of X-Men was I forget the entirety of the statement that he used in the letters pages in one of the Uncanny X-Men books, but he said something about it was like discriminatory towards humans or something.
What?
And I was like, bro, that's like the whole freaking point of Krakoa is the fact that the X-Men have tried for decades to try to get along with humanity, and humanity keeps pushing back. It's the humans' own fault. They pushed and pushed and pushed, and finally the X-Men grew a spine and did something about it, and we're like, no, we're going to form a united front, and we're going to just fight back against your stupid-ass bigotry. So, I mean, like, this guy has, I don't know. And look, I got nothing against Tom Brevoort, personally speaking. I just think that as an editor-in-chief, you know, he's just trying to roll back everything to, like, his favorite era of the comics. It's the same thing that all EICs have done, basically, over the years. But, like, you know, especially since, you know, the I want to say, like, the late 90s, early 2000s in particular, seems like a thing that's been happening a lot. But yeah, so what they're doing is they're just rolling things back to where it was before and doing away with anything that made any kind of like innovative sort of progress in terms of the storylines and stuff like that. Same thing happened after Grant Morrison's tenure on the X-Men books in particular. So it's nonsense, really. This whole thing that I think it was Casada that started with Mary Jane, with putting the genie back in the bottle, whatever the phrasing was that they used at the time.
Uh,
It's just so stupid. And it's really led to nothing of substance, apart from Mary Jane becoming Jackpot now, which is like she's a superhero too, which I mean I can get behind
Huh?
that
Yeah,
if they
it was
wanted to
cool.
do that. But like it's kind of a dumb nothing burger of a storyline, if you ask me. Like this Paul character that they have. I don't know what the heck why they were doing it. What it just felt nonsensical.
Yeah, and I love someone's comment under this on Twitter was one is a character trait and the other is editorial stupidity.
I agree. I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
what was the thing that I saw earlier today where I made the comment on it that I put in the group chat? Where the hell is that? Shoot. Where is it? Where is it?
I will say this: they're lucky that they have such a good creative team on Uncanny X-Men that's able to take what happened with Krakoa and still have it apply to the characterization and everything. Like Gail Simone as writer and stuff, like she's doing a great job.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not that good things can't come out of his tenure. It's just that some of the things that he said, I have really quite vehemently disagreed with.
Yes. So here was the thing that I saw. Stay faithful to the source material. Remove the activism. They should just reboot after Endgame and jumped into a different story like House of M. And then on the quotient was remove the activism, do an X-Men story. And then I commented under remove the relatability, let's do Spider-Man. What?
take out the family trauma. Let's do Batman.
Exactly. Let's get rid of police brutality. How about Punisher? Do these people even read these books they like?
No.
I like get
Never.
ready to go on a King Lion level rant about stupid fucking people that don't read comic books. But his opinions on Batman I don't like, but hearing him tear apart some people that don't read comic books with proof like he's a fucking investigative journalist some days is peak. But yeah, I understand Peter has to be a punching bag, and I'm just gonna, throw this out there. You can be married and still be miserable about things in your life outside of your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Peter can still be sad, but have some good things in his life.
I know. It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
give the guy a break. Like, please.
Yeah.
At least let him get back together with somebody, like with either with Felicia or with Mary Jane. I mean, like they had him kind of on again, off again with Black Cat for a while, and they're just unwilling to give Peter any kind of moments of happiness, I think.
And if
Which
it does,
is
it's like
really depressing.
we're together and it made Mayday Parker, and you're going to see Mayday only and never us being married because we can't show it because it's. I believe they said one day that it was unrelatable.
Huh?
There was some stupid comment made around the One More Day storyline where I can't remember how
At
they
least-
said it.
If
But-
you're not going
but-
to do that, if they insist on having MJ be with the Paul guy or be with another character, then at least give Peter a chance at an actual relationship, in the comics. I mean,
That was one of the things where I've talked many times about how I think the Huntress and the Question in Justice League is one of my favorite relationships ever.
Yeah.
One thing that I wish they would do, and they explored it in that same Justice League thing, is a lot of times Batman does not feel or Bruce Wayne doesn't feel comfortable being with someone because they're at risk and they can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
In the show, they had Diana
Wonder Woman, Wonder Bat.
openly showing interest in him. All those
Yeah.
fears go away with Wonder Woman. She can defend
Yes.
herself.
Yep.
Yes.
Those two would be amazing together.
Yes.
Give or take, she's probably a little brutal for his likings
That
at certain
scene,
points, but
that scene with with him and the This Little Piggy episode where
Yeah.
she got turned into a pig.
exactly. And Yep.
That scene that they have in the beginning where he goes like, "You're a princess from from the Amazons, and I'm a rich kid with issues, lots of issues."
Yeah, he's like, I need to be. He says something to the form of they need to be able to protect themselves, and then she smashes the gargoyle with her bare fist sitting next to her.
Yeah,
Or
and she's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I mean,
or like
it's
when they
so
get turned into
nonchalant."
kids, and she's like, "Well, I want to go with Bruce."
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah. It was amazing. It was one of my favorite ships on the show. Really,
Is Absolute
did
Batman
such a
like
great
that?
job.
Are they together in Absolute Batman?
Really, absolute Batman.
By the way, I've not read it, but their look for Wonder Woman,
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
magnifique. I didn't know Wonder Woman needed tattoos, but oh, bring her here. And apparently, there's some shots of her that her face just legit. Oh, the parental drop. Apparently, there's shots of her in certain angles that look legitimately just like Rhea Ripley.
Ooh.
Damn.
Which, I mean,
Yeah, like last night, yeah, that was mommy was not pleased.
his mom is alive.
No, she was not.
His mother is alive. He also has a giant
Yeah.
destruction dozer as a bat. And the thing in his chest is a bat axe.
Yeah, love that.
It's ridiculous. All right, speaking of wrestling, WWE has removed Dirty, Freakin', and Big from the roster names. So no more Dirty Dom, no more Seth freaking Rollins, and no Big Bronson Reed. Is WWE getting rid of gimmick names? And someone commented on her Twitter, unless Big Frickin' Dirty E is coming back.
So is it going to be like a future thing because they used that like last night, or is this just for like a marketing thing? I'm just kind of confused.
I don't know, because on the website, all those names are gone. Seth got a new Titantron that does not say freaking on it. I think they're just getting rid of the stupid leftover McMahonism things.
That makes more sense.
Which,
Yeah.
Dirty Dom, I don't get, because that would like matches. Seth freaking Rollins never fit for me and was dumb.
That one kind of felt forced.
And then Big Bronson Reed, it's just, he just is big.
I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, but like Dirty Dom was like a legitimate good nickname. Like
What are
it
we
was
gonna call Big E now? Just E?
I think he's still going to be Big E because that was his name. Like he didn't have a extra large Big E. I don't know.
Large E?
Large E, yeah. All right. Another wrestler.
Folded-y.
Folded E, yes. Uppercase E.
Boldy.
Italicized E. All right. So
Italicized E?
a Guinness Book of World Record has been put up. John Cena now holds the Guinness Book of World Records for longest
Capital
babyface
E.
run in WWE history at an astonishing 21 years, 3 months, and 23 days.
That's impressive.
Call him Girthy.
Girthy.
That is hilarious.
I honestly think that we should.
Girthy would be fucking funny. I don't even know if that's PG.
I thought we were getting away from the PG thing.
We were, and then apparently on Netflix they got to censor certain stuff. So that's what everyone thought when they went to
We're all in
Netflix.
flux here. I don't know.
All right, so this may not be a. We're gonna end sadly with a celebrity passing. But this may not be a big deal to everybody. But Dave Mallow passed away last week. For those that don't know, Dave Mallow was a voiceover artist in the like early 80s and 90s, did a ton of different stuff. And I guess he was having like deteriorating health for a while. He passed away at 75. Like the biggest thing for me, like Dave Mallow is the voice of the Anti-Spiral in Gurren Lagann. And that is one of the best voice performances I've ever heard in my entire life.
No,
I will give credit. Crispin Freeman did it in the movies and did a phenomenal job. But nobody's Dave Mallow.
No.
Right. No. I mean, he was working up until like the early 2010s because he did like quite a few characters in Bleach, and I heard he retired because he didn't come back for 1,000-Year Blood War.
Yep. That was the thing. I learned that he was retired because of Gurren, because they said that he wasn't in the cast and Crispin was there. I'm like, the hell? That's when I also found out that Hynden Welch did not voice adult Nia.
Oh.
Someone else did, because I guess something happened where Hynden couldn't do the second season. So she only was younger Nia, and someone else did adult Nia. Because then I watched the movies, and I heard someone else doing young Nia. That was a trip. Like, they still did a good job. I believe it was Megan Shipman. I could be wrong. She's a fantastic artist. Fantastic voice actress.
That is a good replacement for Hynden Welch.
I believe it was Megan Shipman. In the original, it was like Bridget something. I don't remember. But yeah, didn't realize it wasn't her. So, but yeah, it was weird. But yeah, another one that people will recognize in the first time I saw Dave voice acting, he voiced Angemon in the very first Digimon series. Which was one of the coolest things ever when you saw little Patamon turn into the most badass motherfucker and then go immediately right back into an egg because he was too much of a badass to keep around for the entire show. But yeah, Dave was, from all intents what I could see, just a super kind dude that just had a booming voice. And I know 75 is a full life, but it still sucks. I heard that like his health was getting very bad. But yeah. Rest in peace, Dave. I'll always remember you as the anti-spiral. You were fucking phenomenal in that.
Oh yeah.
But does anyone have anything else they would like to talk about? That is all that I have got. Oh, I'm wrong. Mike, you need to go on a Looney Tunes rant.
Yes.
right.
I do need to go.
I'm going to go get water. You go
because-
nuts.
So, of course, David Zaslav being David Zaslav, the next day after I see The Day the Earth Blew Up, I read on Deadline, oh, so all of the original Looney Tunes are just gone from Max. And here's the stupidest part. The reason why is because the streaming service is shifting away from children's programming, which, guys, if you don't remember, the Looney Tunes were not exclusively made for children. These shorts, when they were released in like the golden age of animation, they were playing in front of like actual movies like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind and all of those. So it's just another example of Zaslav just taking everything that is beloved at Warner Discovery and just completely tarnishing their legacy.
Well, hey, look on the bright side. Now he's exactly like Jack Warner because he didn't give a fuck about the Looney Tunes either.
Oh yeah, because there's a quote going around where he's like, "Look, I know one thing. We're the guys who make Mickey Mouse." Like the Warners were pretty much.
Let me just tell you, Jack Warner was probably the biggest son of a bitch that ever existed. Like, he made Walt Disney look like a fucking choir boy.
He did. And I think Jack Warner is the reason why that studio is just forever cursed.
Now, you saw, what was the title of that Looney Tunes movie that came out just recently?
The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Why was this one not sent back for a tax cut?
So, this was originally going to be released on HBO Max and premiere on Cartoon Network for their like Acme movie night.
Okay.
And then once Zaslav settled into his position, it was dropped from the release schedule, shopped around to other streaming services, and then some third-party distributor called like GFM Animation picked up the rights to, again, shop the movie around to other distributors. And then Catch Up Entertainment acquired the rights. Yes, I know.
Okay.
So Catch Up Entertainment got the rights, and they put out the movie released for this past weekend.
Yep.
And the problem is, because they're a very small distributor, they don't have the same marketing budget as the majors. So that's why the movie didn't do that great at the box office. It only made like 3.5 million.
Here's the thing. That Acme movie would have done gangbusters. In my opinion.
For sure.
Something tells me they say they shopped that one around.
They tried to, but they were asking. They were apparently asking for too much, and nobody was like, nobody was taking the offer that they put on the table.
So they put the value insanely high to make sure they got their money's worth, thinking someone else would think this is valuable, but not valuable enough to where we think it's valuable.
I know it makes no sense.
Does this guy still have a job? I just.
Oh, you know, the way that Warner's stock is going, he might not if there's a god.
He's can't tell me he's not most of the reason.
If there is a god, then Zaslav will be out by the end of the year.
Is there even a person, and I don't pay enough attention to care about these things and these big wigs and whatever operations, is there even a person that is an open option for this that you would want to take this spot?
Honestly, I'm like, I don't know who would want it, because I mean, you're inheriting like a massive trash fire.
Yeah, this is one of those positions where it really is damn if you do, damn if you don't, because you've got a huge mess to clean up once this is all said and done.
It's so well. I see that happening with their gaming division.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, WB more than likely probably is going to be broken up. Like,
which is sad, because again,
I mean, it's kind of good, but also like bad for the people that work for the company.
Just these powerhouse names that just went down the shitter so fast. Like Ubisoft, we talked about earlier. They could make every wrong decision in the book, and they were still raking in money hand over fist. And then they just eventually threw too many rocks at the tiger, and it jumped the fence. For those that don't know, that is a real thing that happened a long time ago. Kids threw rock at San Diego Zoo at tiger. Tiger jumped fence and mauled the children. But, like, just how do you see for a decade straight and never go, problem is the people. We have good ideas. They're the problem.
I don't get it. And here's the worst part. WB is pouring a lot into Superman this summer. And here's my biggest fear. Okay, independent of all the Hollywood studio bullshit, I want Superman to do well because I'm excited for that movie. I want the DC universe to do well, blah 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 blah. If that movie does well, I'm worried that it's going to vindicate Zaslav, and he'll be sticking around well past the point that anyone wants him there.
Well, partially that. The other thing that I have a fear of is if that movie does not do good, you're not getting anything other than a Batman movie for 30 years.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of pickle we're in right now.
And that is coming from a giant Batman fan. I want other things.
Same.
I think more than likely, like, the scenario that's going to be happen is, I think you're right, Brock. I think WB Games is going to be spun off into something else. I would not be surprised if most of their other cable networks, Sans, Cartoon Network, and HBO get spun off as well.
What do they all own TV-wise?
Let's see, CNN, TNT.
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they spun off like Turner and like TNT is like kind of like its own like separate like
Yeah.
thing, and like a third party picks that up.
Just
Like they already spun off Warner Music Group. That's now its own like
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. So did UMG a while ago, because UMG
Yeah.
is not owned by Universal, but they still have the Universal logo. It's weird.
which at that point it's like you're stuck with it because that's the problem with branding. Just sometimes you can screw yourself just by changing a freaking logo. Just ask Rooster Teeth. Anyway, but yeah, it's crazy to me growing up as such a DC kid watching this happen.
Yeah.
No, it's
Because
been wild to see.
and how there can't just be a concerted what the fuck. And like in any big business, you almost never see the like. Now, I gave Marvel a lot of shit for breaking glass in case of emergencies, getting Robert and the Russos. They at least did something. It may be the most desperate thing on the planet, but they
But at least it's
did something. And now, if that can get them in good graces and then move on good from there, that was a move that, albeit an emergency and an extreme act of desperation, was something. Not in WB's case, where they're just like, stay the course, it'll work eventually.
This is honestly why I need Superman to do well, and I think it will do well. I think it has a good writer and director. The cast is good, and I know we should take test screenings with a grain of salt, but everything I'm hearing about the movie is heading in the right direction.
You know what my biggest fear is? And it's the stupidity of superhero movies now. That people aren't going to consider that thing successful unless it breaks $1 billion.
Well, yeah, that's just stupid people being stupid.
Well, no, I mean, and yes, but there's a very stupid person in charge of WB.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But here's like the thing, like part of like Nature is Healing too is that, you know, when everyone and their brother was breaking $1 billion, like
Yeah.
pre-pandemic.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting back to where it should be.
Oh,
And that's
we're
gonna
like
be a lot harder.
a billion is actually like a goal to
Meaningful.
strive towards and not just an inevitability.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's the only one that they did that was like during the pandemic. No Way Home. 'Cause that broke $1 billion, right?
That
Didn't
got
it?
yeah, it
Yeah,
got like almost to 2 billion.
Oh wow, I forgot it got that much. Because I know that Strange did pretty good.
I mean, it did well for Doctor Strange standards, but like it did like average for Marvel standards. Like it did. What was it? 500, 700 million? Because
I
Like,
thought
it
it
was
was
955.8 million.
Wow, I didn't know it was close. I seriously thought it maxed out at 7. Okay, damn. But yeah, like you said, what like Bree and you were saying, we're getting to a point of again where it's like your movie needs to kind of like be good to make $1 billion. Good word of mouth. Just did the Batman make $1 billion? It made an ass load, didn't it?
The Batman made I want to say like just above 750 or
I thought it was around 800.
Was it? Okay, I know it was up there. Interesting to make it
772.
Okay,
Raised
I was
after
close.
COVID. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot more people to get into theaters now, which is a good and a bad thing. People became a lot more complacent of just like, I'm not going to give certain movies a chance because I don't want to go to a movie theater. That kind of mentality came around, which kind of further fucked the middle budget movies that barely existed.
Yeah. I'll have I have one more rant regarding box office because we kind of touched upon this at the top of the show. I don't think I ever want to hear again that people want original movies because
Don't go see them.
because we had like 3 of them. Well, yeah, three of them last weekend alone. That were released, and the number one movie that released last weekend didn't even crack 10 million. So no, you don't want you clearly do not want original movies if you're not seeing the goddamn original movies.
Exactly. And the thing is, that turns into, well, I want the original movie, but I want it to be made about something I like.
Yeah,
That's not
this
how
this
it
whole
works.
this whole
No.
moving the goalpost thing has to stop. Either
Exactly.
you want it or you don't.
Exactly.
Just be open to stuff. I mean, that's one of the reasons, why I started like my personal podcast is because, if I'm gonna be like a good writer and like a good storyteller, like you gotta experience everything and like not be like so hypercritical.
Absolutely. You have to be willing to watch stuff that you're probably not going to like. Like, I can tell you right now, I never would have watched, well, started off, I never would have watched Violet Evergarden if it wasn't for the Fresh Takes thing we did. And then that got me to watch stuff like Death Parade, another style of thing that would never have been in my books now. And both Violet Evergarden and Death Parade are, well, Violet Evergarden's a fucking 13 out of 10 in my opinion.
Yes.
Death Parade's a 10
I
out of
agree.
10. It's stuff I never would have watched naturally, but then I was like, I don't need to have action and stuff in my shows. I can really like it if it's just like that.
Yeah, like there's other stuff other than shonen anime.
Exactly, and it's just, or like, because of my surrogate dad, he was the reason why I watched Scent of Woman. I never would have sought that out on my own, and that was legitimately in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, and has my favorite monologue in movie history in it. And I want original movies, but I want it to be an action film about, but guess what?
Step out of your comfort zone.
Also, the concept original movie.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Everything is derivative.
We've ran out of ideas 100 years ago.
Probably
That's
even longer
why.
than that.
Yeah, but it's like you're just going to get versions of it. So when people complain, well, that's close to this, there's only so many plot lines you can do without starting to do things that are illegal that you don't want to see on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So don't put Goat of Monsters in the same. Oh, got it. I didn't read Jacob's comment, and then I saw Umbreon's, and I was like, what? Okay, but it's a live action Fosters. It's crazy how that is just basically what that is. But yeah, it's people need to get over the I want new stuff without checking out something you wouldn't like, and the concept of the original film, and being mad that sequels come out. You can have an original idea that is a sequel to an idea that exists if you make up a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's a sequel doesn't mean bad, fuck you, studio, you should have made a different movie. Fuck you and the idea you came up with. I didn't like it.
Like, honestly, like, Cinema Sins and Ghostbusters 2016 is, like, forever fucked our discourse forever.
Yeah.
And that was like the warning shot before
Right,
the Last Jedi broke everyone's
Right.
brains.
Like, here's the thing,
yeah.
like, Ghostbusters 2016 isn't even, like, bad.
It's just kind of fine, slightly
Yeah,
above
it's
average.
just there. Like, I had no, like, was some of the, did they have a little bit too much in your face moments at times? Yeah, sure, whatever, but like, Kate McKinnon was fucking
Yeah,
phenomenal in that movie.
Thank you. Kate McKinnon was fucking hot. Like, that's all I needed.
And Kristen Wiig was great in it. All the actors were great in it. It's just that some of the writing could have been a little bit different. The actual idea of an all-female Ghostbusters was fine. But that's also in a thing that we've had giant conversations about on this is, what's the movie about? It's a Ghostbusters film that has females in it. That's not how it's described. It was all females and it happens to be about ghosts, but don't say it like that. say it's a movie about Ghostbusters that has all females. When you put all female first, it tends to draw people away and not even make them want to give your thing a chance, because you're trying to make the thing that's special about it is the fact that women are in it. I'm going to go see Ballerina because it looks like a good movie that happens to have a female in it. You're marketing things that are good ideas in stupid ways that are giving people ammunition to bitch at you for if the movie doesn't do good.
Yeah, no, Sony's marketing that as shit. Like, if I was marketing it, I would say, you know, a new version of Ghostbusters with our newest generation of comedians.
Exactly! Which is
There
what they
we go.
were! Because, yeah, again, that's another thing for another time, because then they say that we want new ideas, and then they mentioned, Jacob mentioned Dominion, Maverick, and Avatar. One was just a regular sequel, well, two were regular sequels, and then one was a legacy sequel, and they all broke $1 billion. You'll go to the fucking movies. I know you will.
Which is crazy, because as much as people say, oh, Avatar is a failure, no one likes Avatar, I'm like, yeah, well, maybe most Avatar fans just aren't terminally online, and they're like, wow, that was neat, and just go about their lives.
Exactly.
And I know that we've said it before, it's okay for a movie to just be okay. It doesn't have to be when you describe it as a thing that killed your children or literally made of gold. There could be an in-between. It could just be alright. Like, seriously, we need to be okay with that in reviews. I'm sick of every review has to be a 2 out of 10 or a 13 out of 10.
But the clickbait, Brock, think of the clickbait.
I don't, like, that's become my anti-clickbait at this point. If you can't give an honest review, but then you get the opposite point, where IGN gives a 7 to literally everything.
Oh, except, what was that thing that they recently gave a 4 to? Moist Critical was talking about it.
It was
It was the ending of Invincible, wasn't it?
Yes!
Yeah, it was the finale to season 3 of Invincible.
Which is like one of the highest rated episodes of television, like with a 96%.
And look, I don't even really watch Invincible other than, like, I've watched a few clips, but even I know that's fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to throw death threats and other racist remarks towards the writer because A, I have mutual friends with the guy and he's like one of the nicest people on the internet, and B, I'm a fucking adult. I'm not going to do that.
The availability, and I know we talked about it when Jason broke that guy's phone.
Oh, Kiana, can you take care of that?
But when Jason broke that guy's phone, people are way too comfortable sitting behind a screen.
Yep. Got it.
Thank you. Way too fucking comfortable.
Gracias.
The writer of Invincible or IGN? Mike, he's asking for clarification.
Oh, the writer for IGN.
Yeah. Yeah, it's people. I would love to get back in the day where if you had to talk with someone about something, you had to go to their house. Conversations were very different back then.
Yeah.
I very much miss when it's like if you wanted to death threat someone, you had to risk getting your teeth knocked in. I miss that. I'm not a violent person, but people talked a lot less stupidly when you could get your head caved in if you were a dumbass.
Yep.
There honestly should be consequences for saying stupid shit like that.
Like, I've said it before, I want the IP death note. The second you make one of those, I write your name down, you are no longer able to use any form of social media ever again. Like, it auto-deletes itself the second you install it. And if you get one of these death threat things, there should be, we want to create some sort of task force if we're fucking good, and I know it would be the most impossible job ever. Do you need to be some people, like, reporting this? Like, there's a difference between, like, I'm gonna fuck your mom in, like, an Xbox lobby, and then people saying, I want to kill your child and then beat you with it because you didn't write my show good.
Yeah, like
I understand that Xbox lobbies were a big deal back then, but that was a person pissed because their KD was bad. This is literally, oh no, my show was bad. I hope your child dies. And then people try and say they're the same thing. No, they are not.
Yeah, no, Edgy Swears, like circa 2009, is not the same thing as threatening like an actual living child.
Because that's what happened with, I bring that up because it's what happened with Laura Bailey because of The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Also,
which was
keep in
just
mind, people,
awful.
the actors don't play, or I shouldn't say, the actors play characters. They aren't actually the characters.
Exactly.
Crazy as that is to believe.
Well, that's like social media has made like the already like weird parasocial thing of like voice actors like a billion times worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, you don't fucking know these people. Like some of you do, but statistically the chances are you aren't. It's like you don't know them outside the context of like knowing them as a streamer or, you know, as being a voice actor.
No, and then what it is they received a call, they read lines, you hear it, and you go, you went out of your way to ruin my thing. You did this because you hate me. What filter got lost around 15 years ago that made people just break that illusion? I don't get it.
Oh, it really is a good point. I'm like, yeah, sorry, Luke Skywalker didn't end up being in canon like the ultra gigaest Chad that ever existed.
And like, you can be irritated at I'll openly admit, I fell asleep in that movie because I was bored out of my damn mind. You didn't see me sending death threats to Kathleen Kennedy about it. But anyway, all right. I don't have anything else, and we've gotten through all our topics here. So, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow
Hey,
Renegade
Jacob.
Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us here on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we.
Ree?
You can find me on Blue Sky at crazylemur.bsky.social. I am also on Instagram at lemurs rule1, which I will hopefully have dog pictures up there soon.
Ooh.
So yeah, and you know, hire me for projects. I recently did some freelance. That should be it coming out soon. Yeah, hire me and give me money, please.
Okay. Kiana?
You can find me on Twitter at Neoplasmic24, also on Instagram and Threads at Neoplasmic81. Also on Twitch and Blue Sky at Neoplasmic.
All right, you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly Twitch and YouTube. The schedule's been thrown off a little bit because of me and Mike recording Daredevil on Wednesdays. I will get back to at least streaming once a week. That's been thrown off, but want to check out my Instagram where all my cosplay and convention stuff is. I just got a bunch of pictures from Anime Milwaukee up there, a bunch of really great cosplays and stuff up there. Jacob, there is a guy who did the Beast from Bell in there. He was fantastic. But I will be, next conventions will be Anime Detour for a day and then like a day and a half at Midwest Gaming Convention if anyone's there. Come say hi. I'll be cosplaying at Midwest Gaming Convention because Virgil's voice actor will be there, so I'll have to be in cosplay when I meet him. And then the other podcast that I am a part of, the Geeking Out podcast with my buddy Eli at the Athletic Geek 89. We're just to take one subject and blab about it for an hour, and then I make it my goal to make him piss himself laughing every podcast, and I am pretty regular at it, so I'm happy. All right, until next time, we will see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.